So let's give them a warm welcome.
All right, so full transparency when I say this, I'm very nervous, as you can see by me like shaking violently. So yeah, I'm just gonna put that out there. Yeah, so officially my name is Matthew Hanna. I am a senior at Penn, class of 2018. I'm studying electrical engineering, and yeah, today I'm gonna talk to you about my testimony for baptism. So I ran away. I ran away from everything that was related to Christianity. Starting, I think, end of middle school / early high school and then into college, because I thought that it was just a bunch of, well, people who were going to hurt me. My old church, I went through a lot of emotional abuse. And so the more I tried to get involved, the more I felt like it wasn't going to come back and people weren't going to support me. And so the idea I had after leaving and going to college, I said, I'm going to go up here to this new place, and I'm going to make it, and I'm going to be successful, and I'm going to come back and be like, yeah, all of you missed out. And the funniest / ironic thing that you'll find out about that is the fact that you do find yourself. The only problem is that you find yourself while drowning. So I got to Penn, and I struggled a lot. I mean, pretty much everything I failed at. Classes, I failed at, making relationships with new people, friendships, and I failed with I ended up feeling empty in pretty much every way and broken in every way too. It was almost to the point, no, not almost to the point, it was legitimately at the point where I was considering suicide. So with that, I can sit here and tell you that it's true when they say that God loves the one sheep that strays, and just as much as he loves the 99 who stay. Because one day in particular, I remember I was coming to church, and my friend's not here, but he was there when this was happening. I was really angry. Like, I was coming into church like, the same cynicism and bitterness that I had towards people, it was like, I thought that the same stuff was still going to come up, and it was like permanently inside of my heart. But then I got to GCC that one day for worship, and it was like every song just had me weeping. I'm not talking about the sprinkle that they tell you about when you're about to get baptized. I'm talking about like waterfall, like every single song. And yeah, that was the first part of the process. But then, like, that same sermon, I remember that GCC did the thing where they'll open up the front, where the pastors and staff come with it, and they'll pray for you if you need it. And it's that, so I go up, and mind you, I was relatively new. I'd been here before, but so I met Pastor Young, and really none of the pastors knew me. So when Pastor Young did the intercessory prayer that he does, he starts speaking in tongues, and then he speaks this, for whatever reason, he says the phrase, just run into my arms. And it's like God was sitting there saying, like, I know that you're going through depression right now and that you've been battling with it for a while. Just run back. But I'm not done. Because the same thing happened at retreat, where similarly Pastor Brian was praying for the seniors that night, and the same thing came up. Like, again, I had never talked to Pastor Brian aside from playing basketball with him earlier that day. Like, it wasn't like a thing. And so, like, I'm more convinced that when the same phrase comes up, like I see the brokenness that you're feeling, like, run into my arms, like, you believe it more. And so I'm more convinced that when I feel bad because I should have printed out and brought my testimony up, but okay, that is the important stuff. But I mean, like, if for the question of how like life is after, truthfully, once I got like truly found and experienced like Jesus on a personal level, life didn't instantly get perfect, but I felt like restoration coming in a lot of the areas that I was lacking, like that bitterness that I was carrying around, and just a lot of those fears that I had about really connecting with people too, and more importantly, connecting with God on a personal level. It's like the same baggage that comes up. I think Patty had mentioned in her testimony. It's like it doesn't get dealt with instantly, but instead it's like systematically approached and dealt with. And so now, as I'm able to finally be at a place like GCC and call it home, it feels a lot better. And then lastly, I think, yeah. So the Bible verse that I normally, and has helped me through this whole process, has been John 14:18. So Jesus is telling his disciples that he's not going to leave them as orphans, and that he's going to come to them. And that idea of being able to have a home and to have like a God who wants to dwell with you and experience you just as you want to experience him means a lot too. And so, yeah. I guess the last thing I really want to say is that if anybody's feeling like they're at the very end of it, you're feeling like you're considering suicide, or you're feeling like, you don't matter or you're not worth anything, there's a God who still wants to be with you and show you that love that you're missing. And I'm really thankful for being involved in GCC, whether it's through Planet Shakers when I first got in, or Everlast, or Citadel, or even the class of 2018. It's just, yeah. So thank you.
We're just going to spend a couple moments. Can we just pray? We